Greetings and gratitude, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am super excited to have you guys here. If y'all don't know me, my name is Cassandra. I'm the witch, author, poet, and performer of Magic of Eden. I wanted to get into this video because I wanted to answer a question that one of our Soul Tribe members had, and I have been I've been planning on doing this video, and before I recorded this one, I actually recorded another one, but I may post this one first. I'm not sure yet. We'll see. And I'm actually going to go ahead and dive right into it. So for those of you guys that don't know, I do have a TikTok. What this beautiful soul said was, "Thank you. I'm going through this spiritual awakening and I know it's time to step into this new version of myself and I don't know where to start. I will subscribe to your page and wait patiently." Thank you for waiting, by the way. This is your video. They also said, "I subscribe to your channel. I just want to know how I start becoming the new me. It's like I'm in such a vulnerable space. I've been seeing angel numbers. I know I'm on the right path." Listen, the fact that you are even aware that you are going through some changes, that in itself is so monumental, and that in itself is essential, because typically whenever you're going through these like spiritual awakenings, you start to realize that you have a purpose for something. You start to kind of see and become a lot more aware of the things that are going on around you. And one of the main indications that you are going through a spiritual awakening are the repeated numbers, right? Because you start to become more aware of the patterns, of the synchronicities. Like you said, it's like you know that you're meant to be this new version of yourself, right? And you're wanting to know how to start. To be honest, you've already started. The fact that you have been seeing these numbers and the fact that you know that you need to step up and step out, you've already started the process. Now, the fact that you know that you are going through this awakening, right? And you are wanting to know where to start, and you want to essentially become or exude this new version of yourself, right? What I would suggest is that, and you can take it as it resonates, but what I would suggest is that everything that you used to do before you became awakened, you do the opposite, or you just don't do it at all. And the reason why I say that is because throughout our journeys of spiritual awakenings, right, we realize that there are some things that we went through, that we go through, and we go through these things, and we are who we are as a result of us going through those things, and who we are is simply meant to help us get throughout that time. So now that you're going through this spiritual awakening, you're seeing the angel numbers, you're starting to realize that things are changing for you, and you know that this new you is waiting to emerge. You have to understand the importance of you doing things differently. Who are you? What are you transforming into? Who is this new version of you? What does this new version of you look like? Take some time and sit with yourself and ask, what does this new version of me look like, smell like, feel like? What is this? And then you become the energy, and you allow this energy to simply become you, and then you step out into the world and you be the energy. Like, that is like the most simplest thing that I can say to do with that. But at the same time, it takes a level of trust, and it takes a level of you understanding that you have the right to be whatever it is that you want to be. I know that sounds childish, and I know that it sounds kind of like cliche, but when you really think about it, when you're going through these spiritual awakenings, that is the universe's call to ask you to come out and be who you are. So in this sense, you just simply have to be who you are. You have to do the things that you as a soul would do, right? What is your most authentic frequency, right? The most beautiful thing about this universe is that it teaches us the power of authenticity. So while you're going throughout this process of spiritually awakening, right, you're seeing the numbers, like you said, it's time for you to start being this more authentic version of yourself. You start by honoring who you are as an individual. You start by realizing that you are someone that is meant to live a purposeful life, and you are meant to come out and share that with other people. Start by speaking your truth. Start by taking a moment to reflect and think about who's around you. Are these people serving you? Are these people feeding you life? Are these people draining you? Like, what are these people doing? Are they adding any type of substance to you? Are they like-minded individuals? Do you feel the synergy between you and these people or this person, right? You want to make sure that you have the people around you that are going to ignite or expose who you are authentically in a way that is favorable. Now, in order for you to step into this new version of yourself, it is going to take a sacrifice. The new version of you is going to require certain things that are going to be beneficial and that are actually going to fuel you, that are going to make you feel alive, that are going to enhance your overall quality of life. And this looks like you no longer being around certain people, you cutting the cord, you doing some type of cutting cord ritual, if you will, if you want. And I feel like it's going to really take for you to start doing things that are in alignment with whoever this person is that you are becoming or that you are. And again, it's going to take some sacrifices. You may be used to being around certain people. You may be used to eating certain foods. You may be used to doing things in a particular way. All of these things will change as you evolve, because as you evolve, your needs and your wants and your desires also change, because what you are desiring or what you desire is a reflection of who you are or what you want to really experience, right? And when you have these desires for certain things or for certain people, the reason is because a part of you has evolved. You've leveled up, right? You've ascended in some way. And I feel like the best thing that I can tell you is that in order for you to be this new version of yourself, it's going to take for you to start understanding who and what to have around you. But it takes for you to honor yourself. If you haven't really fully understood how to honor yourself or the importance of doing so, then it may be a little bit harder, because if you're not honoring yourself, then that means that you're not giving yourself what you need. You're not consuming the right things that you need. You're not around the right people. You're more than what I'm hearing is like the word people pleasing. You're more than likely going to fall into this trap of people pleasing, which goes against who you are as a soul. And the best thing that you can do for yourself right now during this time is start doing things in private to honor yourself. And when you get out there, when you get around people, you just have to set those boundaries if you need to. Like, setting boundaries is essential, because those boundaries are meant to protect you. They're meant to protect your space. So you want to set those boundaries. You can communicate it however you want to communicate that truly is up to you, but communicate these things in a way that reflects who you are as an evolved version of yourself. If you're used to cussing people out, maybe you feel you may not want to do that anymore, or maybe the more evolved version of you may cuss somebody out. I don't know. I'm not encouraging you to do it, but I'm also not saying don't, because at the end of the day, how you communicate, right, and the boundaries that you are enforcing is going to come with you being real with yourself, being real with other people. So if you are looking to jumpstart or learning where to start being real with yourself and start being real with people about what you need. And if people are not willing to meet you halfway, if they're not willing to pour into you as you have to others, it's time to cut the cord and let them go, or maybe just kind of distance yourself a little bit. One of the main things that I notice that people go through when they're going through spiritual awakenings or when they're becoming a more evolved version of themselves is that they have to cut people off because people around them may not understand it. They may not understand or even honor or value what that person is going through. And therefore what they'll do is they'll start projecting things onto the person because they don't understand, and they need to shrink people in order to make them fit what they feel. They want people to shrink, or they try to shrink people because that's their way of trying to understand who they are. But see, for you, the fact that you know that you're awakening, that's not going to fly with you, and so you have to set those boundaries. So if you're not setting your boundaries, that's something that you do want to do moving forward as you're stepping into this more evolved version of yourself. Now, I do want to say that what I feel like is that you feel like there's a sense of purpose, like you should be doing something, and with that, I would say start with ritual. And with ritual, what I mean is start these daily habits that support or reflect who you are. For example, if you're someone that is more evolved and you're wanting to get more into taking care of your skin and your and your insides, right? You want to make sure you're eating the right foods, you're consuming the right things, you're drinking more water, you're eating more fruits, right? You want to consume things that are supporting, right, this healing. You are eating things or consuming things that are going to support who you are as a more evolved soul. I want to say to honor your guides, to honor your ancestors, to honor those that came before you, and to also start to create a more close connection to God. And I say that because if you know that you've been seeing these numbers, if you know that you're on the right path, then you spending more time with God is going, well, whatever God means for you, right? The divine spirit, whatever you want to say, right? You have to start spending more time with your guides and with spirit. And the reason is because you will receive a lot more downloads and you will get a lot more guidance as to what you need to do, because spiritual awakenings are very personal. Your life path is very personal. The same way no one will ever have your curl pattern, the same way no one will ever have your birth chart or even your skin tone, is the same way that no one is going to walk the exact path that you walk. And that's the reason why you must establish a strong foundation of love and trust with you, yourself, and with your guides and with your ancestors. That is the number one thing that I can say. If I haven't said anything else, I'm going to tell you that honor yourself by honoring your ancestors, by honoring your guides, because they will give you information to your life that can be beneficial to you, because they have access to things that you may not, right? In the physical world, they have access to these other realities that you may not be able to pick up on, because here we are limited in a sense. So they can help you by giving you the wisdom that you need. So establish a strong connection with your guides, okay? And you being in this vulnerable space, what this feels like is that you're just open to maybe the wonders of this universe, or you're just open to it all. You have to return to yourself. I don't know the reason why, but I feel like I really want to tell you to go within your internal space, because we can give you all the knowledge that we possibly can. We can give you as many tips and tricks as we possibly can. But one thing that I want to say is that it is important for you to honor you before anybody else. It is important for you to listen to what your intuition is telling you before you listen to me, before you listen to any one of these spiritual gurus that they want to call themselves. Like, you want to make sure that you are honoring yourself. That what do you like? Ask yourself, what do I feel, right? How do I feel when I'm around these people? How do I feel when I eat this? How do I feel, right? What do I feel is calling me? Spend more time with your intuition. I know that there are several ways that you can work with your intuition, and if you need me to let you know how to do that, let me know down in the comments, and I will give tips and tricks on how to work with your intuition. But this is a very strictly intuitive journey, and it is also very subjective, because it is all about you. So you must spend time with yourself, right? Start doing things that honor you, right? You can do it in the smallest ways. You can change the way that you eat. You can change the way that you dress. Sometimes people need the encouragement, and they look for their external environment for that validation or that encouragement. If that is you, start changing up the way that you dress. Start changing up the way that you present yourself. Start thinking truly about who you are becoming and what this person looks and feels like, and start to go with that. And I feel like that is going to help drastically. It may or may not help with you, but I know that along my journey and for other people that I have seen, doing so has helped us tremendously, and I invite you to do the same. Conduct yourself with the utmost authenticity. In order for you to do that, you have to know who you are, and that comes with you spending more time with yourself. How much time do you spend alone? How much time do you get with just you? How much time do you get if you have an inner monologue, right? How much time do you spend getting to understand your inner monologue, right? And it's one of those things where you have to really just sit with yourself and know who you are outside of the noise. I recommend you staying to yourself for a little while, or if you want to, what I would recommend is spend a little bit more time in meditation. Spend more time working with your intuition. If you hear anything in the background, it's because my baby is loud and he's excited for whatever reason. If you are someone who reads, read more books. Read books that you gravitate towards. There's so many different things that you can do, but what I don't want you to do is overwhelm yourself by going to this source, by going to that source, by reading, this article and that article. To be honest, it really does start with you and you paying more attention to how you feel. Now, I do know that because spiritual awakenings are so personal, right? I can say these things, but I feel like in order to get something personal to you, that's where we start getting into me doing more one-on-ones with you to see exactly what you need. And that's when we start getting more into counsel. Be gentle and patient with yourself throughout this process, because this is something that you are unfolding over the course of time. Do you see what I mean? This is not one of those things where you just know the answer. It comes over the course of time. Spend more time with yourself. Take yourself out on dates. Right? But it takes you being honest, and it takes practice, because sometimes, people they do things because they don't want to feel embarrassment, and this may not even apply to you, but because I'm making a video that is to serve a general audience, these are things that are coming through. For some people, they do things because they don't want to be cast out. But in order for you to step into this new version of yourself, you have to be willing to be and to feel alone. You have to be willing to feel alone. And the reason why is because sometimes spiritual awakenings can be very lonely. But when you are stepping into this new version of yourself, you realize that you don't need validation from other people. And the reason why you don't is because you spent time practicing doing the things that matter to you the most. right? So I feel like when you're on this version or on this journey of you becoming the new you, because you're seeing the numbers, you're seeing the synchronicities and the signs, it's the universe waking you up to step into your purpose. And it may feel like you're dying, but the way that you get through that is by allowing yourself to go through this process. Whatever comes up, feel all of it, right? Feel everything in this moment, because what's going to happen is you're going to purge it out, you're going to release that, and then you're going to start feeling more vibrant at some point. Allow yourself to go through the motions. Take time with yourself, right? Take your time with yourself. Be graceful with yourself. Have understanding and patience with yourself, because when you do that with yourself, you then understand and know how to do it more with other people. Because this new version of you, from what I can tell, is meant to be great. Like, you're meant to be seen. And I'm not saying that to fluff you up. I'm saying that because you are meant to be seen. But in order for you to be seen, you got to get out there. You got to go and do what you need to do. You got to, I want to say you got to prep yourself. But how do you prep yourself? By spending time in prayer, by spending time in meditation, by spending time with your guides, with your ancestors, right? You spend more time with yourself in spirit, and you dedicate that time to you all. That way you could receive the guidance that you need to set yourself in motion, to set your energy in motion. Right? And that is what I feel truly is what you can do to help you step into this new version of yourself. And that is what I feel like Spirit wants you to know now, is that this journey may not be easy. It may not feel pleasant, but that's the beauty of it, because you're learning how to transcend beyond your pain and your suffering, right? You have to be willing to allow these old things to die. You have to be willing to let go of what happened in the past. You have to be willing to allow the past to be where it is and not take it with you as you journey into this next stage in your life, because you're going through a transition, right? Death is, to me, the angel that guides the soul into another dimension of life. And I think about it as also being a gateway that leads to another life. And so you may feel anxious, you may feel a rush of anxiety, you may feel vulnerable, but allow yourself to be vulnerable, because the more vulnerable you are with your guides, with yourself, and the spaces that you feel like you need to be or that you can be, the more you can see yourself for who you truly are. And that is how you honor and step into this new version of yourself. It does take vulnerability. You can be vulnerable with the people, right, that will appreciate love or appreciate who you are. It's not about just simply walking around without protection, because at the end of the day, you need protection, right? But you know that, and you start to distinguish who you can be vulnerable with, right? But it's going to take for you to understand that vulnerability is meant for the divine to see you for who you are, so that it can send people to you that are going to help you along your journey. And that is the beauty of vulnerability. Your vulnerability is the gateway to healing, and I feel like that is what Spirit wants you to know. Now, my battery is about to die, so I feel like I'm gonna take this as an indication that this is what may help. Now, if you need anything from me, please be sure to visit me online at CassandраTurner.com. You can book a service there if you need to. Also, if you need to, you can visit me over at Magical Eden on Instagram. I also have readings there, and you can also look for me to do more readings on TikTok, if you will. Thank you so much for spending time with me here today. I hope that this video helped. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. I am more than happy to help in the best ways that I can. Thank you for sharing space with me today. I love you guys. I love all of you, and I'll catch you in my next video.